All right.
All I
we
can see
checked
is
off.
the.
Mental health was one of the things I
Oh,
wanted to
there you
talk
go.
about.
We can continue on that. So what you were on? You said you were on.
So I was diagnosed with severe depression and severe anxiety. Like I was having massive, physically debilitating panic attacks. Like I was afraid to drive because I would have them while I was driving,
Mm-hmm.
and like they would happen out of nowhere. Like I'd be having a great time, like nothing would be wrong, and all of a sudden like my body would feel a little strange. And anxiety is the fear of fear, you know. So I would fear what could be happening, and it would just like set off, like my heart would race, and I would think that I was having a heart attack, and I would hyperventilate, and I would hyperventilate so hard that my hands would like go like this, and my whole body would go stiff, and like it happens when I'm driving. So like it was a terrible thing. And I got help, which is great. And it's good to get help because it's not even getting help, it's giving yourself help, which is, I think, a wording that needs to change. You're not getting help, you're giving yourself help.
You're providing yourself like
right.
an outlet.
You're allowing yourself to understand yourself. But yeah, I got on Zoloft and it was scary for a little bit, and I felt fine. Like I didn't really notice anything. Like I was just like, and I think that's what it's supposed to do, is like make you feel normal. And I only wanted to be on it for a year because it's supposed to be about a year, like what they say, like you can do it for a year and it'll help you level off and get back to norms with good living techniques and like lessons and stuff. So yeah, I did a year and then I got off of it, and now I'm happy. And I've been reassessed, and I have minor depression, minor anxiety.
Yeah.
It's like, it's cool. And I'm so happy about that, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I feel like because I have like anxiety and panic issues, but like I know how to like snap myself out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, when it happens, like especially like driving around, like mainly when I'm hungover, you get that bad like anxiety. Oh, it's the worst. And you're like, all right, well, this is just because I'm like dehydrated. Just take a deep breath, drink some water. Like it'll be all right. Like, but it can be like, I mean, I've had like real bad panic attacks before. Not like often, but like to the point where I'm like,
you think you're
losing
dying.
your shit. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I need to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And you don't, but you do.
It's just something in your brain triggering your.
Yeah, and it's not made up, because I saw, who was talking about mental health recently, and I cannot remember. Someone was like, you want me to believe that someone can be so sad or anxious that it ruins their physical life?
Yeah,
and like,
yeah.
you just, if you don't understand it, I guess you would think it's made up, because like, why? It seems stupid and like mythical, like it's in your head. It literally is in your head. Like,
yeah, well, it is in your head, but the chemicals that your brain releases
you like my bad pour technique?
I feel like the chemicals in your brain that are released during those things have a very physical effect on your body.
Super real.
Like,
yeah.
It's in your head, and you can kind of alleviate some of it by
Even
thinking about it. But like if you have a panic attack, like a real panic attack, like afterwards, like the last bad one I had was like for like 13 hours afterwards, I felt like my body was
you cannot
crazy.
Function. Like,
yeah, it's really weird.
Actually,
you're like
physical,
you're jittery.
Yeah.
Like yeah,
and you can even tell yourself, like, it doesn't matter. I remember after I had my first major panic attack where it was physically affecting me, where like I told you, like
yeah,
I remember I saw my hands do this, and I was like, I think I'm having a stroke, but it was hyperventilating.
That's a pretty common thing for panic attacks.
Yeah,
too. It's like your motor function and your
well, it's because
fingers.
of your oxygen levels.
What can you do?
Did he just press play on your computer?
I don't think so, buddy.
Is that a touch screen?
It has a touch bar right here.
Oh, he might have sniffed it.
It's okay.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh yeah, but I remember after I had my first massive panic attack, I was driving, and I hyperventilated, and my hands did this, and I was like, I think I'm having a stroke.
You pulled over?
I pulled over, and I managed to hit the call button on my steering wheel, and I managed to call my big brother, and I was at Rivertown, or whatever, the apartments off of Rifle Range, right near Whitesides, or what used to be Whitesides. I pulled in there, and I managed to hit the call button, and I managed to call Graham, my brother, And I was like, I think I'm having a stroke. Like, can you come help me?
Aww.
And like my whole body was like stiffening up, and like in my head I thought I was having a stroke and a heart attack. And I was like, well, I need to like get my head over because I'm gonna choke on my tongue, and I got it was like so much stupid stuff.
Yeah, and if you're thinking like that clearly, like while that's going on, you're probably not having a stroke.
But I had no idea, and I was like, well, this is not good.
No.
And then like that whole like I went to the hospital because until the nurse told me it was just a panic attack and I was hyperventilating, like I was convinced that I had a stroke or something or a seizure. And even after knowing that, the way that my body was physically affected, like I called my cousin in New Jersey who's a doctor, and I was like, am I okay?
And this is like a couple hours after this had happened.
Yeah, right? And it was like the whole day, and I was like, I need to sleep, but I'm scared to fall asleep because I feel like I'm falling, and like it's it's a wild thing.
Did they give you like an IV at the hospital, get you hydrated?
No, so I didn't even, because I didn't have health insurance at the time.
They were probably
They were putting the heart monitor on my thumb, and I showed the nurse my hands like this. I was like, this happened, and she's like, that was hyperventilating, and I was like, I don't want to be checked in, so I got out.
Nice.
So yeah,
you were like, you just told me what was wrong.
Yeah, so I was like, so I'm fine. She's like, you're fine. That's pretty much it.